Hello everyone, my name is Prajakta Dhage and I am from Department of Zoology, KTHM College, Nashik. Today I will be taking a class for SYBSc Semester 1. Subject is Animal Systematics and Diversity 3. Paper 1. Chapter is Phylum Chordata. This is the second lecture of this chapter. The topic that we are going to cover today is ancestry and origin of chordates. Now let's see what are chordates. I have already discussed the salient feature or general characters of chordates in the previous video, but still today I'll be giving you few points of the chordate. Chordate is one of the Deuterostome phylum which includes heterogeneous group of animals that differs from one another in many aspects. It includes a living as well as extinct animals such as ostracoderms, tunicates, lancets, lampreys, fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. The prime character of chordates is presence of notochord. Another important character is the dorsal tubular nerve cord, and the third one is presence of pharyngeal gill slits at some stage of life. There are many more other characters which are specific to phylum Chordata. Now, the notochord is the star character or the main character. It is also called as chorda dorsalis. It is solid, unjointed, rod-like structure located in the mid-dorsal line between the dorsal nerve cord and the gut. Notochord consists mainly of large vacuolated cells that multiply to form thin epithelium at the periphery. It gives support to the body and it provides space for muscle attachment. In some lower chordates, it persists throughout the life, but in most of the higher chordates, it is partly or wholly replaced by the vertebral column, which can be cartilaginous or bony. Now, let's move on to the origin and ancestry of chordates. Chordates are supposed to be originated from invertebrates, but there is no reliable evidence in favor of origin of chordates due to the lacking fossil records. Fossil records of certain vertebrates that are found in last Cambrian strata suggest that chordates may have originated before the Cambrian period, but no fossil remains of animals have yet been found from Cambrian rocks. This lack of records is attributed to the soft-bodied ancestry of chordates, which could not be preserved as fossils. This leaves us with no option other than understanding the origin of chordates from the resemblance characters shared between the lower chordates with the invertebrates. So we are basically dependent upon the resemblance or the characters that are similar in lower chordates and invertebrates. Many theories were put forth for explaining the origin of chordates from non-chordate groups, but all of them have major drawbacks and cannot be fully accepted. Now, here in this particular slide, you will see some of the theories given by many scientists. The first theory is cylindrate theory, then you have nemertine theory, you have annelid theory, arachnoid theory, echinoderm theory, and finally neoteny theory. So we will see each of the theory one by one. So let's move on to the first theory, which is cylindrate theory. It claims that the chordates originated from cylindrates by losing their specialized features such as radial symmetry, dermatocysts, and evolved the advanced characters such as bilateral symmetry, segmentation, mesoderm, and coelom. This theory did not get much support as the advanced characters, which as per their assumptions developed by the chordates, are also found in other invertebrates. So whatever they were calling it as an advanced characters developed by chordates were also seen in other vertebrates, so there was nothing new in that. According to this theory, the progressive characters acquired by vertebrates are developed independently of the invertebrates, which may not be possible. This is the reason why this theory was not accepted. The next theory comes is, according to this theory, chordates evolved from marine worm-like animals called as nematines. It is due to few characters such as median dorsal nerve in both, cerebral ganglion was thought to correspond to the vertebrate brain, then the lateral nerves in case of the nematines were compared to the lateral lines of the fishes, the cephalic pits on the sides of the head of nematines was compared to the vertebrate gill slits. Proboscis sheath lying above the gut was suggested to be the notochord of the vertebrates. So this theory received very less appreciation because nematines resembles the turbellarians in many characters. Moreover, the proboscis sheath and cephalic pits are different in nature from the notochord and gill slits. So this was the reason why this theory was also not accepted. Now the next theory that comes into picture is annelid theory. This theory or the annelid theory suggests that chordates might have originated from annelids because both show similar characters such as bilateral symmetry, segmented body, they are coelomates, segmental excretory organs are seen, there is closed circulatory system in both. So these characters made the scientists think that the annelids will be the ancestors of the chordates. But this theory failed because annelids do not have notochords or gill slits, and notably annelids are protostomes whereas chordates are deuterostomes. So this theory was again not accepted. Another theory, which is referred to as arachnoid theory, was proposed by few scientists. This theory proposes the origin of chordates from the Paleozoic arachnids called Eurypterids, or these are the arthropods. And why was it? It was due to their resemblance with early ostracoderms. The common characters shared between the two is that they are armored with dorsal exoskeleton. But this theory was also discarded as chordates do not possess arthropod-like appendages. The nerve cord is dorsal and hollow in case of chordates, whereas it is ventral and solid in case of arachnids. Another theory was put forth by few scientists, which is called as echinoderm theory. According to this theory, the chordates have originated from echinoderms. Why? Because the remarkable similarity between the larval forms of echinoderm, bipinnaria larva, and the hemichordate Tornoria larva. According to the scientist Garstang, the free-living auricularian larva of some ancestral echinoderms evolved into chordates by prolongation of larval life without undergoing metamorphosis and reproducing sexually. This process is called as pedogenesis. Most zoologists like Romer, Beryl, Barrington, etc. were in favor of the deuterostome line of chordate evolution. This theory states that the phylum Echinodermata, Hemichordata, and Chordata, which are all deuterostome phyla, show common ancestry on embryological and biochemical evidences. Okay, so the similarities are as follows. Let us first see the embryological similarities. So, early cleavages in zygotes of all the three phyla are indeterminate. Blastopore of the gastrula gives rise to anus. All of them are enterocoelous. The bipinnaria larva of echinoderms and tornoria larva of hemichordates show close resemblance to each other. Now, let's move on to the biological similarities. During muscular contraction, all the deuterostomes use an identical phosphogen, the creatine, in energy cycle. Invertebrates use arginine for the same purpose. But some hemichordates and echinoderms use both arginine phosphate as well as creatine phosphate. Okay, thus suggesting that the hemichordates are connecting links between the chordates and invertebrates. Okay, now another theory which was put forth by Gargstein is called as neoteny theory. According to this theory, if the ciliated bands of Holothurian auricularia larva, which is of course an echinoderm, rise up as ridges, leaving a groove in between them, and if these ridges had to fuse to form a tube, then it would be related to the vertebrate nervous system. He also suggested that some of the tailed larvae developed gonads and evolved into neotenous type or adults. These free swimming neotenous adults invaded estuaries and rivers. Only few groups of early Paleozoic animals such as protochordates and arthropods would have succeeded in exploring the freshwater habitats. Burwell in 1955 suggested the following larval sequence: auricularia larva, which is echinoderm, then tornoria larva, which is hemichordate, then ascidian tadpole larva, which is protochordate, and permanently free swimming chordate. On the basis of this sequence, the ascidian tadpole, by evolving further and suppressing the metamorphosis, gave rise to vertebrates. Although so the basis of this sequence, the ascidian tadpoles, by evolving further and suppressing metamorphosis, would have given rise to the vertebrates. So this was all about the neoteny theory. See, although so many theories are given, but the origin of chordates will always remain speculative due to the lack of fossil records. As the fossil records are inadequate, we will always have a question mark about the ancestry of chordates. So, this was all from my side about the ancestry of chordates, and thank you.